we een tafel aanraken, voelen we niet die tafel, maar we voelen onze vinger. En wat daarin gebeurt. We voelen ons...
No, they're looking forward to this wonderful feast of emotion, and here it is, the culmination of this quintessentially English evening, the patriotic melodies of Sir Edward Elgar's British movement.
Jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry, lovely, lovely, lovely. Jingle jangle jewelry, lovely, lovely, lovely. Jingle jangle jewelry, bunker my bum. Jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry. Rock me chocolate starfish, rock me chocolate starfish. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Start my bottle bullets, lovely, lovely, lovely. Come and chuck your muck. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Jingle jangle jewelry, rock me cabriolet. I'm not a shoplifter, no. Up the chocolate speedway, choke your chicken, up your Charlie Ho. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Jingle jangle jewelry, time to chuck your muck over your sister's jugglies. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Time to rape a turkey. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Up the Christmas tree. Up me chuff mountain, up me chuff mountain. I'm a chutney farmer. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Come and eat me clag nuts. Come and have a clam smacker. Up me curry bongo, take it up the bum. Up me coca sombrero, up me coca sombrero. Come and suck me clinkers. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm a council gritter. I'm a council gritter.
What they're doing with the paedophilia is they're using the paedophile as the conduit to draw off the life force of the child. And that's why you find, as my research has shown over the years, a far higher ratio of paedophilia to these so-called elite levels in Satanism than you find in the general population. This is what a Central American shaman called Don Juan Matus said in a book by Carlos Castaneda some years ago. Sorcerers see infant human beings as strange luminous balls of energy, covered from the top to the bottom with a glowing coat, something like a coat of plastic adjusted tightly around a cocoon of energy. The glowing coat of awareness is what the predators consume, and when a human reached adulthood, all that is left in that fringe of awareness is a narrow fringe that goes from the ground to the top of the toes. That fringe permits mankind to keep on living, but only barely. So like I say, they're using the paedophile as the conduit to draw off the child's life force. That's what paedophilia is about, and that's why it's so prevalent, and that's why it's so incredibly prevalent in the institutional bloodline levels of society. And this Australian Satanist said, politicians, massive Satanism in politics around the world, politicians are introduced by a carefully graded set of criteria and situations that enable them to accept that their victims will be our little secret. Young children sexually abused, molested rather, and physically abused by politicians worldwide are quickly used as sacrifices. In Australia, the bodies are hardly ever discovered, for Australia is still a wilderness. In the other parts of the world, they control the crematoria and the great burial grounds around the world as well. And so I was not in the least bit surprised about him, because I was told about him in the late 1990s that he was into massive paedophilia and necrophilia, sex with dead bodies, which has just come out this week through a guy who talked about it on the radio. And the reason that Jimmy Savile, this entertainer who died in 2011, the reason he got away with it was because he was a procurer of children for the rich and famous. And he was very, very close to the British royal family. In fact, in his own words, he was introduced to the royal family by Lord Louis Mountbatten, who some researchers have connected to paedophilia in places like the King Cora Children's Home in Belfast. He, Edward Heath, the Prime Minister 70-74, who took us into the, what is now the European Union, I named him as not just a paedophile, but a Satanist and serial child killer 7 years before he died. And he did nothing about it, because it's true. This guy, Thomas Hamilton, the killer of the children in Dunblane in 1996, he was a procurer of children for the rich and famous. That's why he was protected for so long. And that's why in the official inquiry into what he did, some of the documents were put under lock and key, never to be seen, it was said, for 100 bloody years. Even a former head of Freemasons in Scotland, Lord Burton, said the Dunblane inquiry was a cover-up and that he was bullied when he tried to question it. And this very week, about 2 days ago, an MP raised in the House of Commons a question about paedophilia rings out of number 10. I've been naming this guy, the President of the United States, Father George Bush, as a paedophile and child killer since the 1990s. Said it in radio, said it on the BBC, didn't make the podcast, mind, but I've been saying it for years. It almost came out in this story in 1989, but then was put on hold and suppressed. And of course, the Roman Church, which is an expression of these bloodlines going way back, Church of Babylon, relocated, is infamous for paedophilia. This is the reason why. That's why you see naked children all over the Vatican when you go around. And what are demons doing in a sporting event ceremony around kids in hospital beds? Can you explain that to me? I thought that was bloody weird. What is the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang bloody doing in a sporting event opening ceremony? I tell you, it was alive with symbolism, that was. And I've been saying for years that these bloodlines drink the blood of children to rejuvenate themselves, and that's one major reason why they live so long. Queen Mother, 102. Prince Philip in his 90s. David Rockefeller, 97. Henry Kissinger, almost in his 90s. They live for so long. One reason is they get different treatment to us, but this is another. And this came out only the other day, that they've now found the amazing discovery, shaman in the ancient world have known it for thousands of years, that transfusions of young blood appear to rejuvenate the elderly. That's why they live for so long.
Jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry, lovely, lovely, lovely. Jingle jangle jewelry, lovely, lovely, lovely. Jingle jangle jewelry, bunker my bum. Jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry. Look me chocolate starfish, look me chocolate starfish. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Start my awful bullets, lovely, lovely, lovely. Come and chuck your muck. Lovely, 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 jingle jangle jewelry, up me cabriolet. I'm not a shoplifter, northern, up the chocolate speedway, choke your chicken, up your Charlie Ho. Lovely, 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 jingle jangle jewelry, time to chuck your muck over your sister's jugglies. Lovely, 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 time to rape a turkey. Lovely, 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 up the Christmas tree. Up me chuff mountain, up me chuff mountain. I'm a chutney farmer, lovely, lovely, lovely. Come and eat me clag nuts, come and have a clam smacker. Up me curry bongo, take it up the bum. Up me coca sombrero, up me coca sombrero. Come and suck me clinkers, lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm a council gritter, I'm a council gritter. Do and do and do.
Although we are capable of great acts of kindness, history teaches us that we sometimes need saving from ourselves, from our recklessness or our greed.